Hi guys, SDJRSNF88 speaking with a quick update on the Garden Railway. Now, I would like to apologise for the wind noise. It is blowing a gale out here, but it is nice and sunny and warm though. So I thought I'd quickly get around and do an update now, as there's been quite a bit of progress done to the railway itself. So without further ado, let's take a closer look. As mentioned in the previous update, we were going to get round to cleaning out the pond, and this has since happened, albeit a few weeks ago now, and the water's gone slightly more murky since then. But while the pond was empty, we had the opportunity to paint the suspension bridge deck. So I got in the pond itself once it was all drained out, and I set about repainting the whole deck of the bridge black, which had over the past year had started to peel off in places, and it's gone down very well, and it's now more vivid and back to the way it was when it installed, and of course that should hopefully keep the wood preserved for that much longer. Whilst I was also in the pond, it meant I had access to the location for the pondside siding, which meant we could start on the installation of the siding itself. Now, as you can see, the dockside walls, which featured in the previous update, have now been set in to their permanent location, though they do need to be fixed in place, and the track itself, or the track bed, still needs to be done. So I thought, while it's in this current state, I would show you the what needs to be done to get the track down, and of course how to keep the walls in place. So here we are around the back of the pondside siding, and here we can take a closer look at the work that has been done to actually start installing the siding. Now, first of all, in the previous update, this was all overgrown with weeds and other things, and this has since been dug out whilst we had access to the pond itself. And you can see, if I zoom in here, that the actual flower bed has been dug down back to the concrete, which is the edge of the pond, and that is a good 6 inches deep compared to the height of the track bed. If I zoom out and around here, up here, so there is quite a height difference between the level rails up here and the level of the actual soil in there. So while we got it to this deep, it means that we're going to put some sort of cover down the bottom to stop the weeds again, some sort of weed net or polythene, and then we'll put some hardcore on top, then the ballast, and of course the track itself. Now, as you can see where this rails to here, this is all temporarily laid. There is a stake already in place supporting the end of that curve there, and there'll be another one down the end which will support the straight, which the track will be screwed into, and then there'll be some offcuts of wood which will be treated and laid underneath there to keep the track level, and then of course that will all be packed and filled with ballast to keep it all nice and level. Now, I'm waiting on a small curve because, as you can see, I haven't continued laying the track any further to see if it all fit in yet, because I need a half radius curve to go on the end there to get the track parallel with the wall. But once that arrives, I can then plan out where the final stake will go in, and then we can start laying down the membrane to stop the weeds, and then start laying all the hardcore ballast, and then actually get round to finally laying the track. Now, as you saw in the previous update, there were a few new building additions in the form of the new lighthouse and the windmill. Now, going on from that theme, I thought it'd be great to see other buildings, as you did as well, dotted around the railway. And of course, one building that all railways need is a station. And with the passing loop and the little extra space that was left around the back, it seemed more than logical to actually have one. And as you can see, we now got one. And this one has been again made by the engineer himself. It's a little station building or halt, which would sort of depict what would have been seen on narrow gauge railways around the country, just made from bits of offcuts of wood. Now, of course, it is by no means complete. I've got to go around and actually detail the building itself, but as you can see, that's just the basic structure there, just constructed from some offcuts of wood. It has a little open door there, and it also has some plastic on the window there to create a window. Now I'm going to go around that and I'm going to create a window frame and everything with finer bits of wood. I'm also going to add a chimney pot to the chimney, as you can see on the back there, and I'm also going to add some woodwork to the door to make it look a bit more realistic as well. The roof is going to be felt's going to be used on the roof. I'm going to cut it up into little tiny squares and recreate sort of like tiles, and then they're going to be glued on there. The platform, believe it or not, is actually a plank of wood, very simple. But it has been sprayed with some textured spray paint. Now, I got the idea from Tom's Model Railways, really great channel, so do check him out. And he discovered these cans which have textured spray paint, so you get like tarmac effect and stuff. And I popped into a local hobby store and I found a can of it. It's a bit expensive, but you get a great result in a short space of time. And I've sprayed up this plank of wood and it looks really, really good. And I've got enough left over in the can to spray the actual building itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the whole outside of the building. I'm going to mask off the window and the door and everything else. I'm going to spray it with the this paint, and then I'm going to paint it white to get the effect of a white rendered building. And I'll put a little black strip along the bottom as well, because many of the buildings in the local area do feature in that colour scheme. So it sort of adds a bit more of a local feel to the railway as well. Now the platform itself, it looks, it's just sort of temporarily there, it's balancing away on top of the ballast, but when it comes to be permanently attached to the railway, I'm going to set it into the ballast, so I've got to get some more ballast, which of course will be needed for the extension anyway, and the siding, and I'm going to pour it all around the ends, around the edges, and make it sort of flush with the ballast, as would be seen on many narrow gauge railways. Now, over the winter months, I may remove the platform itself. The building will probably only come out in running sessions anyway, just to preserve it, from the weather, constant, being out in the elements. So that will be removed when the railway's not running, and I may do the same with the platform. But as you can see, it's set up temporarily here for the this update, and of course there's still a lot more to do on it. But it really is a nice little addition, and I look forward to working on it and we're getting it more detailed and setting it in with the landscape. Now I thought a nice way to round off this update would be to do a bit more talking about the planned extension. Now I'd like to first thank you all for all the positive feedback that you left regarding the planned extension, and I'm glad to see that you're as excited as I am about this new venture. So as you can see, the bluebells and the weeds that were featured in the previous update have since been removed. The bluebells died off, so it made perfect sense to start clearing the flower bed to see what we had and what sort of ground area we'll be dealing with when we get round to laying the track, which probably won't be until late summer. So as you can see, I'm just going to move the tripod here. We've got the straight on the current section of the layout, and the track will come along the front there. It will then go around behind the tree, in front of the concrete, around the edge of the concrete there, and then join back onto the passing loop by the station. Now, one thing that I was worried about, and did state in the previous update, that we would probably need to build a border as seen on the straight to the left of the screen there, along the front of the flower bed. But it seems that the track will be a good distance back from the edge, so it probably won't be needed, which means we can sort of have a little flower bed along the front of the railway as well as behind the railway itself, which I think will be a very lovely little feature, sort of creating sort of like a sort of a wooded area or something like that, but obviously with miniature plants and other things. So I thought that'd be a really nice little feature. The soil itself is all very soft, there's not very many rocks in there. The rocks you can see are the big large ones, and we could just simply move those over and create a rockery in the centre there, where again more miniature plants and all the other plants that are in the sort of the way of the track bed will be relocated. Apart from that, it'd just be a bit of digging and the usual underlay, bit of rubble, some sort of hardcore, and then the ballast and of course the track. So it should all be pretty simple stuff in theory. Now I have got the track to begin the extension, but of course it's just waiting for the time to actually do it. And of course we're going to try and get the main railway itself and have a bit of fun with it while we got it as it is. But as soon as we find a bit of time, we'll start a bit of work on this, and hopefully it won't be long until we have a full-fledged extension, and of course a lot more running space on the Garden Railway. So that's all for this update. I hope you enjoyed it, and of course hopefully more progress and running videos to come when of course the weather is nice. Thanks for putting up with the wind noise. I do apologise for that, but it was just such a nice warm day. It's just a real shame about the wind noise, but I hope you all enjoyed it, and hope you didn't mind putting up with the wind noise. But anyway, that's all for this update, and this has been SDJR Senef88 speaking, and thanks for watching.